Hi everyone, and welcome to part 3 of my Great Guitar Build Off 2022. In this video you're going to finally see some actual work on this guitar. What you're actually going to see, so a bunch of work has gone on. So you will see the routing for this sort of extended electronics cavity here. You'll see me making 2 pick guards here, and you'll also see me preparing these bits of Alder from this big chunk here to test out stains. Now I haven't got all of the stains yet, but I've made those ready for it. Yeah, so without any further ado, let's get on with that.
So here you can see me giving the heel weight quicksand with some 600 grit paper. It only needed a few passes to fit into the neck pocket. So here's some footage of me routing out the larger cavity for all the electronics I require. So this was actually only the 3rd time I'd ever used a router. The first being at university almost 20 years ago. And the second time was a couple of weeks before this, just on some scrap MDF. Given my complete lack of experience with this, I'm very, very happy with how it turned out. This is the final result I got to with the router. At the time, I didn't have a bit long enough to get to the bottom of the cavity without running on the body that I'd already cut, and I didn't want to run the risk of hitting the hole for the jack there. So I bought this little piece of Alder here to test out some stains on. It doesn't perfectly match the body, but it's pretty good colour wise and grains close enough to give me a feel for how it'll look. So I'm just cutting out a couple of pieces of it to sand down to a nice smooth finish and stain and oil and whatnot.
Excited by this. The finish is well
I'm not sure where I saw this before. I must have seen it on YouTube somewhere. But it's a really nice way to sand a small piece like this. You just stick the paper to a solid board and have at it. I had 80 grit paper on the far end there. It took quite a while still, but it wasn't too bad. And this is the finished result. So I've got 3 faces there to finish. So next up you're going to see some footage of me making the pickguard. I actually made 2 pickguards. The sheets of black limber that I got were actually acoustic guitar backs and sides, and the pieces you see here were from the sides. They weren't book matched obviously, but I've jointed them and you can barely tell. I initially did this as a test, but after seeing the results I think I'm just going to use these because the heavily figured one looks really good in my opinion. And I can save the rest of the wood for another project at some point. As I said, I started off doing this as a test, thinking, yeah, I would ditch these and use the full pieces. And for whatever reason, I started on this less figured piece first. Here I'm cutting out the holes for the bridge and pickups, only very roughly. I haven't decided at this point if I'm going to route them. And here's the finished result just using these saws. The combination of the coping saw and these Irasaki files make really quick work of getting to the line. And here it is on the body. Overall, I think this piece is too plain and too boring, and when you look at this more figured piece, it just looks so much better. And here's some footage of cutting out the more figured piece. Unfortunately, the top corner of the pickguard decided to split off here. Later on I managed to reshape that corner and it's fine. There was also a bit of a crack in the wood near where it split. I filled it with super glue from both sides and it seems okay now. It's pretty sturdy, so I'm not too concerned.
So what you've just seen is quite a lot of progress I've made so far, but there's a hell of a lot left to do on this guitar still. On the body itself, I've got to finish routing out this electronics cavity. Previously I didn't have a router bit that could go deep enough without risking sort of running the bearing on the hole there for the jack. So yeah, so I never took that deep enough. I now have bought a new router bit that's long enough to do that. So that's cool. So that's one of the next ones. Obviously I need to then route the pickup cavities. I'm currently waiting on Crimson to deliver the P90 template. I was also considering doing some extra routes from those pickups into the cavity. There are holes in the kit here already for wires, but I was just thinking it's probably going to be better long term to do that, and it'll be covered by the pick guard in a way, so I may as well. Another thing I'd like to get on with is carving the body, so a belly carve here and some sort of forearm carve in the bottom corner here. Now I played around with this curved line. I don't know if it'll be more strat-like than that or not. We'll get there, I guess. But I recently picked up new Shinto rasp, so I'm looking forward to trying that out. Other than this, I've also got the headstock to shape and obviously then to do fretwork as required on the neck. And then there's the stains. So again, I'm waiting on Crimson to deliver a couple more stains. I've got a couple of the Stunning Stains shots here, brown and amber. I'm waiting on a red and black, I believe, to play around with. So I'll be doing the tests on these bits of Alder here. They match the colour of the body really well. The grain's not a perfect match, but it's good enough for a test. And I'll have to prepare a couple of pieces of these as well to test various colours or just, oil. Annoyingly, Crimson didn't have any of their high build oil in stock. I do have a little bit of the penetrating oil left, but yeah, so I'll probably use that for now. Other than that, I think that's probably about it for this episode. So I'll see you in the next one, I guess.